Welcome to the guided exercise on managing files in Git with Visual Studio Code. Let's take a look at how we're going to use Visual Studio Code in this exercise to manage the files that we'll edit and author throughout the rest of this course. The first step will be to connect to your workstation and launch Visual Studio Code. Once there, we'll clone down a repository that we're calling Architecture. For my desktop, on the Start menu, I have a button for Visual Studio Code. I have one additionally on the desktop, and I could search for it as it says in the instructions under the keyword code. Either way, once you launch Visual Studio Code, we'll then move forward to cloning our first repository. To do so, we'll use the command palette, which can be accessed through the View menu or through the hotkey Control-Shift-P. I do have the git clone command at the top of my list as I've recently used it. But if you don't, you can simply type git and the git commands will start populating. I'm going to use git clone, which then asks for the repository. https gitlab.example.com/student/architecture. I'm going to be placing my repositories in my documents folder. You feel free to place it wherever you'd like. Just recall where you put them, as we'll need to open them at a later point. If you're ready to open it, which we are in this case, you can open it now. All right, perfect. And we can see that the contents of that repository are now available in my left sidebar of VS Code. From step number 3, we want to edit the site.yml, site.yml. So we'll click on that file, which will open it in a tab in the right pane. We can see the current contents of that file. Name is example playbook. It targets the host known as Windows. It has a single task named time services enabled and running. Uses the Win service module with the arguments of name, W32 time, start mode auto, and the state running. We're going to change the task name and the name of the managed Windows service from W32 time to Spooler. Once we do, we'll click Save. We can use Control-S or the Save selection in the File menu. We'll change to the source control view, denoted by this symbol here, or the hotkey Control-Shift-G. You notice that it does have the numeral 1, showing that we have one alteration that has not been managed yet. Now, we'll click the plus sign next to site.yml, sitting right here. So we'll stage those changes. Our changes are now staged, and we can see that the M icon shows that we have a modified file. Currently, it's asking us in the message window to enter a commit message that will be sent with our changes, along as a note into the repository. And we'll go ahead and add a small note that just says updated site service to Spooler. Once you've committed that message, you now see down at the bottom of the screen that you have one change that needs to be synced. And we'll go ahead and synchronize those changes now by clicking that button. And we'll say, okay, don't show again, so we don't have to be bothered with that again. It's now sending those changes upstream. Would you like VS Code to periodically run git fetch? I'm going to say yes in this case, but that's preferential, not necessary for the course. That concludes this guided exercise. Stay tuned for the next video. See you there.